All right, let me just do a quick video on how you can use the VS Studio test framework or unit test framework to test your Program 3. So first off, in this directory, CSS 342 test cases, I have the set of tests, files that we need to test our code. The main set of tests are in this program3.cpp. And we'll take a look at that within Visual Studio itself. Okay, so unzip the code. I have a couple classes, and then I have some text files which will be read in, and they need to be put in the proper place in your directory substructure. And then I also have an answer, which is list342.h. The students will have their own list342.h that you'll utilize. So what do? Let's open a new project, and I'm going to call it Program 3 because that's Program 3 CPP is one that I'm going to overwrite it. I'm going to use this native unit test project, C++. And you can find it by just typing in C++ test, and it'll come up there as the first choice. So I'm creating a test project framework, and I'm going to call it Program 3. I'll create that thing. It's taking a little bit of time here to create it, but that's okay. All right, so if you've never used this before, generally the class will have a number of test methods, and those test methods will have assertions. I won't give a demo here of how to create a test method. It's pretty straightforward. We'll see it in the code when we copy it over. So I build just this empty framework, and then what I'm going to do is copy over all of the code that I already created. So I'm going to go to the actual Visual Studio directory where this project is at. And I know that's in users Dempsey, source, repos, Program 3. And so notice within Program 3 there is a program3.cpp, which is the one that was there previously, or sorry, that was the one that was created when I created the project. So let me go ahead and just copy over all of the files, all of the code I have for my test cases. I'll copy over all of the .h's, and I'll copy over all of the .cpp's. And I'm going to actually overwrite that Program 3 CPP. Perfect. So now within my project directory, I have all of the code. I just need to now pull it into Visual Studio. Oh, looks like Program 3 has already been pulled in. Notice these .h's haven't been resolved. So over here, I'm going to go to Header Files. I'm going to say Add Existing Item. And I'm going to grab all of the .h files. bird.h, child.h, and list342.h. We'll add those in. And then in my source files, I'm going to right-click, Add Existing Items. And there's the bird CPP, child CPP, and animal CPP. So those are the classes implementations we need for the test cases to run. Okay, cool. Now everything is good to go. Notice that there's a number of test cases, and each test case is a test method with a name, and then it does something. In this case, it creates a bunch of children and a list, and it inserts those children into the list, and then it goes and does this assert if the child is in the list itself using the peek command. And if all of these asserts work, this score plus 4 is done. Okay, and you can see there's 27 test cases here. All right, so then I am going to rebuild the solution just to make sure everything builds. Looks great. So my list342h at least built, and it has all the methods that my test cases need. Hopefully the students will be in the same boat. So then I can run the Test Explorer. So go to Test and go down to Test Explorer. And I don't know why it's taking up the whole window. I usually don't like it taking up the whole window, so let's see if we can dock it down here. Well, I'll worry about that later. What does this do? Anyways, this is the Test Explorer, and it will show you the tests that are in the test cases. And here are the 27 different test cases. If I hit this button, it says Run All Tests, and so I'll just run all the tests. The tests are running, and they all succeeded. Now, let's say there was an error in one of the students' codes, and I'll mimic the error by actually changing one of the tests. So we'll go to Program 3, and we'll say test number 4. Here we're going to assert if this string is equal to that stream. So let's just change the string. So now it'll fail. I can come here, test. In this case, I can run all tests from here. Sometimes it pops up here, which is nice. Run all tests. It builds the code. All the tests run, and notice not everything ran. It looks like this test case here didn't run. At the final end, you will see that Z final score will give you the expected score and then the actual score. So they got 42 instead of 40. And it will tell you which of the test cases failed. All right, and why, what assert actually failed there. Hopefully that will get you enough to get going on this. The other thing I did was, before I started the video, was there's those text files that we read from. So let's take a look. In the build list call, notice I put those in the test directory, C test directory. So if I come here, I can see that I put the 3 text files in there for reading. Hopefully that'll get you going on this and using the test framework to help test Program 3. Thank you.